Welcome back. All right, so we're going to review the other 10 games that took place today. If you're looking for a review of the early games, video's already on the channel. So, that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in talking about New Jersey and Montreal. So it was Allen versus Dobesh. Carrier has a rush chance that's held. The Devils press at 3.5 minutes. The shots are 3-2 New Jersey at 6 minutes. Good forechecking by the Devils. We then get a power play by Montreal. That was killed off. No shots on net there. At 15:52, Hischier jams one from the side of the net to put New Jersey ahead. Bratt and Nason with the assists. Hischier was out, I think, for both the second and third period in this game. We'll see what his status is. But at 17:48, Bratt fires one past the screen to make it 2-0. Hamilton and Dillon with the assists, so 2-0 New Jersey there. Habs look to respond. Things are pushy on a hold by Allen, and still 2-0 after the first period. Second period, Meyer has a slot shot that's held, and then at 3:50, Suzuki buries a wrister from the slot. Caulfield and Slavkovsky with the assists. Montreal's on the board. It's now 2-1. Laine has a net drive that's blocked. Mercer's denied on a turnover. Gallagher to Slavkovsky, near miss there. We get a power play for the Devils. That's killed off. Devils press with 8.5 minutes left, and at 12:56, Tatar scores from Hamilton and Lazar. That makes the score 3-1 for New Jersey. The Devils then look for another. The Habs press with 5 minutes left, and at 17:05, Caulfield puts one past a screen from the slot to make it 3-2. Suzuki and Slavkovsky with the assists there. Laine then has a 3-on-2 chance that's held. The Habs press in the final minute, but it's 3-2 New Jersey after 2 periods of play. Third period, the Habs press at 1.5. Shots are 2-1 for Montreal at 3.5 minutes, and at 3:34 on the face-off that followed me writing that on the board, Carrier gets a goal. Gouli and Suzuki with the assists. So nice tic-tac-toe play on the face-off win, and Montreal's tied the game at 3. Devils press to respond. Mercer has a net feed that's blocked. More pressure by the Devils at the half. Nason's denied. Dobesh holds there. The shots were 11-5 for the Devils with 4.5 minutes left, and then it's crossbar and out for Mercer. We're going to overtime. The overtime, the Habs controlled early. Evans has a net drive that's saved. Hamilton has a shot that deflects out. And eventually, at 4:06, Jack Hughes buries one on a breakaway to make it a 4-3 win for New Jersey. Timo Meier with the assist. So with the 4-3 win, New Jersey 28-17-6 on the season. With the overtime loss, Montreal 24-20-5 on the year. Shots on net, 12-6 New Jersey in the first. Both teams had 16 shots in the second. 13-7 were the shots for the Devils in the third. Both teams had 3 shots in the overtime. Devils the shot that matters. Final shots 44-32 for New Jersey. Both teams go 0-for-1 on the power play. Hits 20-17 for Montreal. Allen saves 29 out of 32. Dobesh saves 40 out of 44. All right, next up, the Battle of Ontario. So it's Woll versus Forsberg. Nylander has a net feed that gets picked off. Sens press at 3 minutes, and then at 3:46, Toronto gets on the board first. It's McMahon from Marner. Sens then draw a power play. That's killed off. Cousins gets shaken up in a collision with Quillen. Quillen got up. Cousins got the worst of it there. Nylander has a rush chance that's held. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. That becomes 1 minute and 7 seconds of a 4-on-3 for the Senators. And on that power play, they would score. Stützle buries a one-timer. It goes post and in. Sanderson and Giroux with the assists at 10:43. That's the first goal Ottawa scored this season. Feels like it, doesn't it? So the shots are 8-3 Ottawa with 8 minutes left. Tkachuk has a 2-on-1 chance that's held. There's some pushing. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period. Holmberg has a rush chance that's saved. The Sens press at 2 minutes. We get a power play for Toronto. That's killed off. Batherson's denied and close. The Leafs press at 6 minutes. The shots are 6-1 for Toronto 9 minutes into the period. Stützle has a wrister in close that's held. The Sens press with 8.5 minutes left. The Leafs press with 5 minutes left, but it stays 1-1 after 2. Third period, Stützle has a net feed that's held. The Leafs press at 3 minutes. Shots are 2 apiece at 4.5 minutes. Leafs get some pressure 6.5 minutes into the period. Matthews has a one-timer that's held. There's a shoulder save on a Nick Robertson chance. The Leafs press at the half, but at 10:47, Ottawa gets the lead back, and it just pinballs in. Goes in off Pinto's knee. Highmore and Shabbat with the assists. It's 2-1 in favor of Ottawa. Leafs look to respond. They would eventually pull the goalie, and with 46.8 seconds left, Toronto calls a timeout. They had heavy pressure, but in the end, they do not get the tying goal. It's a 2-1 win for Ottawa. Much needed win for Ottawa. They go to 25-20-4. They pull 1 point ahead of Montreal. Toronto 30, 18, and 2 with the loss. Shots on net, 12-6 Ottawa in the first, 12-5 Toronto in the second, 11-6 Toronto in the third. Final shots, 29-23 for the Leafs. Power plays, Toronto 0 for 1, Ottawa 1 for 2. The hits, 24-19 Ottawa. Woll saves 21 out of 23, and Forsberg 28 saves on 29 shots. All right, moving along. Tampa Bay and Detroit. So Vasilevsky versus Talbot. Teams trade early rushes. 4.5 minutes in, there was one shot. It was by Detroit. Veleno's denied on a turnover. Raymond has a net drive chance that's saved. Seider has a wrister that's held as the Wings get some pressure. Shots are 5-2 for Detroit at 8 minutes. Wings press with 8.5 minutes left. The Bolts press with 5 minutes left, and Kasper has a net feed that's held. It is scoreless after the first. Second period, the Bolts press at 1.5. Fisher has a screenshot that's saved. There was a delay for an issue with the ice along the boards. Otherwise, this would have been the first game done of the evening games. Shots are 2-1 for Tampa at 3.5 minutes. Chernak has a shot that's held as Tampa presses. Teams trade turnovers. Shots are 7-2 for Tampa at 6.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Lightning. That's killed off. And then at 9:55, Kasper scores from Compher and Fisher to make it 1-0 for Detroit. Then Soderblom nearly adds one for Detroit right after that. We get a power play for the Wings. That was killed off as well. The Wings press to close out the period, and things get kind of punchy at the horn, and Detroit starts the third period with a power play, up 1-0. The Wings cycle late in that power play that starts the third. That is killed off by Tampa. Hagel has a rush chance that's saved. The Wings press at 3 minutes. Tarasenko has a wrister that's held. Berggren has a net drive chance that's blocked. Too many men on the ice. The Wings get a power play. That's killed off as well. Things are punchy at 9 minutes and 10 seconds. Bolts come out of that with a power play. That was killed off as well. Penalty kill was pretty good in this game. Shots are 9-5 for Tampa with 7 minutes left. Tampa Bay presses with 6 minutes left. There's a near miss for DeBrincat and close. The goalie pull happens with 2.5 minutes left, and at 19:32, Rasmussen scores into the empty net from Johansson, and he also put himself into the net on the play, so you get the puck and the player. And the win for Detroit. They win 2-0, so the Tony the Tiger magnets on the board because Talbot was great. Detroit goes to 23-21-5 with the win. With the loss, Tampa Bay 26-19-3. And don't look now, Tampa Bay's in trouble in terms of their playoff chances. They're getting way too close to that line. Shots on net, 13-7 Detroit in the first, 12-9 Detroit in the second, 12-6 Tampa in the third. Final shots are 31-28 for the Wings. Power plays, Tampa Bay 0 for 2, Detroit 0 for 3. The hits, 17-12 for Tampa. Vasilevsky was excellent, 30 saves on 31 shots, but Talbot saved all 28, and he gets the shutout. All right, moving along. The last game on this board is LA and Columbus. It's Kemper versus Merzlikins. Shots are 2-0 Columbus at 3 minutes. The fans call one. The referee does not. Kings press at 8.5 minutes. And at 9:24, Werenski wires one on the rush to give Columbus the lead. Del Bell Belouz and Kent Johnson with the assist. So Del Bell Belouz is on the board again. And I think he's earned himself a permanent job. This is the trick when you get injured. The guy who comes in and replaces you, if he plays really well, then you have a hard time getting back in the lineup. So at 12:55, the Kings, on a face-off win, they end up tying it. Deno buries a rebound, Fiala with the assist, so it's a 1-1 draw at that point. Shots are 11-4 for LA with 4.5 minutes left. They controlled large swaths of this game. Columbus presses with 2.5 minutes left. The Kings press in the final minute. Trevor Moore can't bury one in close. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period, the Kings press at 1.5 minutes. Shots are 2-1 for LA, 4.5 minutes in. Kent Johnson has a net feed that gets blocked. The Kings press at 7.5 minutes. Columbus comes up with some pressure at the halfway mark. We get a power play for Columbus. There's a shorthanded rush by Kempe during that. LA does kill off that power play. Shots are 6-5 for Columbus with 5 minutes left. LaFerriere can't bury one in close. Voronkov has a chance that's held. Pretty tight game through 2 periods, and it stays 1-1. Third period, Kings press at 1.5 minutes. Fogel has a wraparound that's a near miss. And then at 2:51, Fabro. It's a point shot past a screen, and it goes in. He scores from Severson. That makes it a 2-1 score for Columbus. Kings look to respond. The shots are 4-2 for LA at 4.5 minutes. The Kings press at 5.5 minutes. The Kings tie it, but was the goal offside? Yep, just barely. By a couple of frames, it was offside, so that's no goal. It stays 2-1 for Columbus. Then there's a crossbar and out for Del Bell Belouz from, I believe, the right circle on that one. Kings press at 9.5 minutes. There's a press by LA with 8.5 minutes left. We get a power play for the Kings. That's killed off. The goalie pull happens with 3 minutes left, and there was a clearing opportunity for Columbus that actually hits the referee and stays in the zone. And not long after, LA ties it. And as soon as it hit the referee, I was like, oh, LA's tying it now. It's Byfield bearing a rebound and close. LaFerriere and Fiala with the assists at 18:55. No assist given to the referee on the play, but at any rate, yeah, that had to be a tough one for Columbus fans and for the players, but it's 2-2. We're going into overtime. The overtime, the Kings controlled early. Columbus takes over. Provorov has a shot that saves. The Kings take it. Werenski was given a penalty shot. He actually, I think, overthinks it. He runs out of room on that, so that doesn't score. But at 3:45, Marchenko dekes around Kemper and close. Beautiful goal by Marchenko. Provorov and Danforth with the assists. Columbus wins 3-2 in overtime because they're at home. They go to 24-19-7 and stay above the playoff line with that result. The Kings 26-14-6 with the overtime loss. Shots on net, 12-5 LA in the first, 8-7 Columbus in the second, 13-7 LA in the third, 4-1 Columbus in the overtime, including the shot that matters. Final shots, 33-24 for LA. Both teams went 0 for 1 on the power play. Hits, 25-21 Columbus. Kemper, 21 saves on 24 shots. Merzlikins, 31 saves on 33 shots. Let's go to board number 2. Dallas and St. Louis. So one thing with the low-scoring games, the reviews get a little faster. So it's DeSmith versus Binnington. They had a nice Hall of Fame ceremony for the 2025 inductees for the St. Louis Blues. Blues press at 1.5 minutes. The shots are 2-0 Dallas at 2.5 minutes. Things get pushy on a hold by DeSmith. And at 7:07 on a fast break, Dodonov goes 5-hole. He stays hot. Robertson and Heiskanen with the assists, making it 1-0 for Dallas. Blues call a timeout. Montgomery was not happy with his team at all. He was not happy, period. Just not a happy camper. We then get a power play for Dallas, and they score on it at 9:36. Lindell scores from Hintz and Dodonov, so it's 2-0 for Dallas. I don't imagine Montgomery was happy with that either. Stars look for another. We get a power play for the Blues. That's killed off. The Blues press after it's done, but it's 2-0 Dallas after the first. Second period. Bork has a chance in close. That's held. Things get pushy on a hold by DeSmith. The Blues press at 3.5 minutes. In fact, the shots are 5-1 for the Blues at 4.5 minutes. More pressure by the Blues at 6 minutes. Dallas getting stuck on one shot for a while. We then get a power play for Dallas. That's killed off. They did manage 2 shots on that. Neighbors has a turnover chance. That's held. The Blues press with 8 minutes left. Tucker has a wrister that's caught and held. Bork gets bloodied. Took a puck to the face. He was okay. He would stay in the game. The Blues press to close out the period, but it's still 2-0 for Dallas after 2. Third period, early power play for the Stars. Johnston, Cadbury won in close. That power play's killed off. Shots are 3-2 for Dallas at 3.5 minutes. Holloway has a net drive chance that's saved. Buchnevich has a net feed that's blocked. The Blues press with 8.5 minutes left. There was a post for Matthew Joseph. Johnston has a net drive chance that's blocked. There's a post for Broberg. Eventually, the goalie pull happens with 4 minutes and 26 seconds left. So, I mean, St. Louis tried, but in the end, Dallas holds on. They win this one 2-0. So the Tony the Tiger Magnets on the board because DeSmith was great. 31-17-1 is the record now for Dallas. St. Louis drops to 23-23-4 with the loss. Shots on net, 12-9 for St. Louis in the first, 14-6 St. Louis in the second, 7-4 St. Louis in the third. Final shots, 33-19 for the Blues. Power plays Dallas 1 for 3. St. Louis 0 for 1. The hits 38-21 for St. Louis. DeSmith saves all 33 shots for the shutout. Binnington 17 saves on 19 shots. So another setback for the Blues. They just haven't been able to get on a bit of a run here to get themselves really fully back into the chase. Speaking of the chase, Calgary, they were above the playoff line coming into today, looking to maybe gain some space on teams beneath them, like St. Louis. And they were in Minnesota. It was Wolf versus Fleury. The Flames press at 2 minutes. Shots are 3-0 Calgary at 4.5 minutes. The Flames get a power play, and Kuzmenko tips one in close. Kadri and Uyghur with the assists at 6:57. So nice to see Kuzmenko get a goal there. Flames press at 8.5 minutes. Rossi has a net drive chance that's defended. And then at 9:34, it's a slot shot that's deflected in. Eriksson Ek scores that one from Zuccarello and Kaprizov. So that makes it a 1-1 tie. Wild then press for the lead. The Flames press with 6.5 minutes left. The Wild gets a pressure in the final minute. And Miromanov hits a post on a rush in that final minute. It's 1-1 after the first. Second period, early press by Minnesota. Ball gets shaken up on a hit by Lauko. They called it 5 minutes. They reviewed it, and they dropped it to 2. I was honestly surprised, so I put a question mark after dropped it to 2. Like, I thought it was a 5, but at any rate, it's killed off. The Wild then get a power play, that's killed off, and then Lomberg had a fight with Loco, because that's predictable. And then at 12:28, Pospisil gets one. He shoots at far corner from in close. He's been without a goal for a while. I mentioned that in the preview. Kuzmenko and Sharangovich with the assists. It's 2-1 for the Flames. Flames then look for another good forechecking by Calgary. The shots are 11-6 in favor of the Flames with 4.5 minutes left. With 1:43 left, Calgary goes to the power play, and they score on it. Anderson, who is also overdue for a goal, he buries it from the left circle. Backlund and Pospisil with the assists at 19:52. It's 3-1 Calgary after 2. Third period, shots are 2 apiece at 2.5 minutes. The Wild press at 4 minutes. Good forechecking by the Flames again. Wild press at 8 minutes. Shots are 5 apiece at the half, and at 11:53, Bishop, who's been in the minors for a while, he gets his first of the season here. Good story. He goes far side on a rush. Lomberg with the assist, making it 4-1 for Calgary. We then get a power play for the Wild, and at 14:15, Freddie Gaudreau scores to make it a goal closer. Hartman and Rossi with the assist, but 14 seconds later, Kuzmenko gets the second of the game for Calgary. Sharangovich and Weegar with the assists, so now it's 5-2. Things are pushy on a hold by Wolf, and then at 18:46, Marcus Foligno makes this a little more interesting. He scores from Rossi and Boldy, so now you have to pull the goalie and see what happens. And at 19:33, Zuccarello deflects one in. Spurgeon and Rossi with the assist. The Wild call a timeout to discuss what they're going to do. Well, Pelche beats out an icing to win it. So Calgary would have iced it, but Pelche turns on the speed and helps Calgary get this win 5-4. Not the prettiest win, but it's a win. The Flames go to 24-16-7 with the win. With the loss, Minnesota 28-17-4. Shots on net, 5 apiece in the first, 14-7 Calgary in the second, 13-10 for Minnesota in the third. Final shots 29-25 for Calgary. Power plays, the Flames go 2 for 3, Minnesota 1 for 2. The hits 23-20 for Minnesota. Wolf saves 21 out of 25. Fleury saved 24 out of 29. All right, last game on this board. The Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders, the last of the early starts tonight. So Kochetkov versus Hogberg in this one. Shots are 2-0 Canes at 2.5 minutes. Roslovic's denied. The Islanders clear. The Islanders press at 4 minutes, but eventually Carolina gets the goal. At 5:18, Roslovic roofs one on a rush. Kotkaniemi and Orlov with the assists. And then at 6 minutes and 30 seconds, Aho, he plays a little bit of billiards with this one. It banks in off George and then Hogberg. So Aho gets the goal from Chatfield. It's 2-0 for Carolina. Canes press at 8.5 minutes. Teams trade turnovers. Shots are 7-5 for Carolina with 7 minutes left. Barzal fires one high as the Islanders press. Kotkaniemi had a fight with Pajot. I didn't see that coming. The Islanders get a power play. Barzal has a shot that's held. And then just after the power play ends at 17:53, Romanov deflects in. Cizikas and Pelech with the assists. It's 2-1 for Carolina after 1. Second period. Early Canes power play. Jarvis has a shot that's held. There's a shorthanded rush by Palmieri that helps to kill off that power play. Cizikas fires one wide on a rush. The shots are 7-2 for Carolina at 6 minutes. We get a post for Rantanen. Hogberg holds there. So Rantanen almost got his first goal as a Carolina Hurricane tonight. We get a power play for the Islanders. That's killed off. Holmstrom misses wide on a net drive. Martinook has a wraparound chance that's saved. Pajot in alone. Kochetkov poke checks him. And all I could think was, so it's Pochetkov? So I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking outside the box a little, like Pochetkov. But anyway. So 25 seconds left. The Islanders get a power play that rolls into the third period. Score still 2-1 in favor of Carolina. The Canes finish the kill. The shots are 2-1 in favor of Carolina at 4.5 minutes. But at 6:26, Lee buries a rebound from the doorstep. Horvat and Romanov with the assists. It's a 2-2 tie. The Islanders then press for the lead. The fans call one. The referee does not. The Canes press with 9.5 minutes left. Kotkaniemi fires one high from the slot. There's a post for Svechnikov as the Canes press, and they get more pressure to close it out, but we're going to overtime. Sorokin is in. Hogberg's night was done, so tweak something there. Sorokin goes in. And all I could think was, what timing is this? You don't get warmed up necessarily, so at least I don't think he had the warm-up, did he? Anyways, so the Canes control early. Jarvis has a rush that's defended. And then at 2 minutes and 3 seconds, Brock Nelson gets the goal from Palmieri. So Sorokin goes in, plays 2 minutes, and he gets the win. It's a 3-2 overtime win for the Islanders. They go to 21-20-7 with a needed victory. They get above 500. The Carolina Hurricanes 30-16-4 with the overtime loss. Shots on net, 10-9 Islanders in the first, 9-8 Islanders in the second, 9-6 Carolina in the third. Both teams had a shot in the overtime. The Islanders the shot that matters. Final shots 27-26 for Carolina. Power plays 0 for 1 for the Canes, 0 for 3 for the Islanders. The hits 38-19 for the Islanders. Kochetkov saves 23 out of 26. Hogberg saves 24 out of 26. Sorokin saved the only shot he faced in the overtime, and he gets the win. Let's go to board number 3. It's Saturday. It's Saturday. So, Washington, Vancouver. Lindgren versus Lankinen. This was the debut for Elias Pettersson, the defenseman. You know what? I think he's a pretty good defenseman. Seeing some of the zone exits and some of his defensive play, he looks good. He looked good tonight. So, early press by the Caps. The shots are 3-0 Washington in a minute and a half. The Canucks press at 4 minutes. Heinen to Miller near miss there. The fans call one. The referee does not. We then get a power play for Washington. That's killed off. The Canucks press with 8 minutes left. And at 12:23, Hughes on a backhand pass to screen. He scores to open it up. And Höglander and Hronek with the assists. So that's the Triple H combination right there. We get a power play for Vancouver. That's killed off. Eller has a net drive that's caught and held. The Caps press with a minute and a half left. But with a minute and a half left, it's an offensive zone penalty by Karlsson. So as I'm writing that on the board, Karlsson takes an offensive zone penalty. The Canucks to the power play. So it's 1-0 Vancouver after the first period. And to start the second, we have a wrister by Miller that is held. The Caps do finish the kill. The teams trade rushes. And then at 1:24, again past a screen, Hughes with the wrist shot. Besser and Hronek with the assist. So both of these goals by Quinn Hughes are ones that Lindgren never saw. So fantastic play there. Teams trade turnovers. Ovechkin has a face-off chance that's held. The Caps press at 5.5 minutes. Shots are 5 apiece at 7 minutes. Caps press at the half, or Canucks press at the half. The Caps then draw a power play. That's killed off. Radish has a 3-on-2 chance that's saved. Canucks press with 4.5 minutes left. Suter misses one wide from in close. Miller to Heinen. There's a near miss there. Danton Heinen. I know how to say it. So it's 2-0 for Vancouver after 2. Third period, Caps press at a minute and a half. In fact, they had the only shot on net 3 minutes in. The Canucks press at 4 minutes. Karlsson has a shot that deflects over the net while the Caps have some pressure. Miller has a rush chance that's caught and held. The Caps press at 6.5 minutes. Chychrun has a shot that's kicked aside. Radish to Eller. That play gets blocked. There's more pressure by the Capitals at the half. We go a very long stretch without a whistle. And then at 12:31, Dubois jams in a loose puck. Protas and McMichael with the assists. It looked like Lankinen thought he had it, but he didn't. So Canucks don't challenge it, rightfully so. And it's 2-1 for Vancouver. Caps then looked to tie it. It was really all Capitals at this point. The Canucks would get some pressure with 5 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. And that was after Lindgren makes this amazing diving save through the air. Really, it was a baseball save on Di Giuseppe trying to hit the empty net. So Lindgren's going towards the bench, sees that the Canucks have the puck, and he goes back, and he leaps through the air and makes this diving catch to prevent the empty net goal for Di Giuseppe. So that was impressive. Wilson tips one over the net with 3.7 seconds left. The Caps call a timeout, and then at the horn, things get kind of punchy. So it is a 2-1 win for Vancouver because it's Saturday. They go to 21-17-10 with the Saturday victory. I think the plan from now on should be just every day is Saturday for the Canucks. You tell them every day is Saturday. Capitals 33-11-5. This is their first regulation loss this calendar year. Shots on net 13 apiece in the first, 11-8 Washington in the second, 10-4 Washington in the third. Final shots 33-25 for the Capitals. Power plays both teams 0 for 2. The hits 24-14 for Vancouver. Lindgren saves 23 out of 25, including that spectacular one on Di Giuseppe. And Lankinen is much better when he's had rest. 32 saves on 33 shots. This might be the best game he's played this year. So definitely when he's had some rest, I think Lankinen is more effective in his movements. All right. So that being said, let us move on to the next one, which is Nashville and Anaheim. So Saros versus Gibson in this one. Shea has a screenshot that's held. Killorn has a rush chance that's saved. And then at 4:15, Minchikov and Saros almost had that one. Leeson and Harkins with the assists. It's 1-0 for Anaheim. We get a power play for Anaheim. That's killed off. Shots are 10-5 for the Ducks with 9.5 minutes left. The Ducks press with 9 minutes left. We get a post for Lacombe. And then at 14:49, Nashville ties it. Nyquist, a backhander on a rush. Forsberg with the assist. So 1-1 draw at that point. We get a power play for Nashville. That's killed off. Nyquist has a screenshot that's caught and held. And then at 19:55, those closing seconds, important goals. McTavish tips one in close. Killorn and Zegras with the assists. It's 2-1 Anaheim after one. Second period. Dostal's in to start the second period. So there's another case of a goaltender just being out. And we'll get some kind of injury report, I would think, tomorrow on what's going on. But Dostal was in to start the second. There's a press by Nashville at 1.5 minutes. We get a power play for Nashville. That's killed off. But the shots are 6-0 Nashville, 4.5 minutes. And at 5:07, O'Reilly buries a rebound in close. Willsby and Nyquist with the assists. It's a 2-2 tie. We get a power play for Nashville, and this is where in seasons previous, Anaheim would have folded. But instead, they kill that off. Trouba has a rush chance that's held. Vetrano was a rush chance that's blocked or decide. And at 10:46, Harkins buries a rebound. So one thing with Saros tonight, rebounds. So Harkins buries this one from Gudas and Leeson. And then at 11:48, and it's a rebound, Zegras with a wrister, Hellison and Dumoulin with the assists. All of a sudden, it's a 4-2 lead in favor of Anaheim. We get a power play for Anaheim, and at 14:20, Mason McTavish gets a second of the game. Terry and Lacombe with the assists. It's 5-2 for the Ducks. Pressed by Nashville with 2.5 minutes left, but it stays 5-2 after 2. Third period, teams trade turnovers. Novak has a chance at save. Puck's cleared out. Shots are 3-0 for Nashville at 4.5 minutes. Ducks get some pressure at 5 minutes, but 7.5 minutes in, the Ducks didn't have a shot that had hit the net yet. There's a post for Zegras on a 2-on-1 rush. Things get pushed and a hold by Dostal. Gauthier's denied on a fast break. Nyquist with a near miss. Dostal holds there, and in the end, Anaheim wins this one 5-2. They go to 20-23-6 with the win. With the loss, Nashville 18-23-7. Their winning streak's done, and that's a tough result. Shots on net, 15-10 Anaheim in the first, 18-14 Nashville in the second, 14-6 Nashville in the third. Final shots 42-35 for the Preds. Power plays Nashville 0 for 3. Anaheim 1 for 2. The hits 17-16 Anaheim. Saros saves 30 out of 35. Gibson saves 9 out of 10. And then in relief, Dostal was fantastic. 31 saves on 32 shots. So I don't think Ducks fans have anything to complain about tonight. All right, next up, last game of the night, Florida and San Jose. And that I got to change a magnet, don't I? Actually, it's not going to fit in the middle, so I'm going to put the magnet at the bottom if that's okay. All right, so Bobrovsky versus Georgiev. Early press by San Jose. Condon's denied as San Jose makes a push. Shots are 3-0 for the Sharks at 3.5 minutes, but then they pass it to Nate Schmidt. That's not their player, and he puts it in the net on a one-timer at 5:47. To their credit, San Jose answers at 6:50. Ceci. It's a screenshot that's tipped in. Wallman with the assist. It's 1-1 at that point. Sharks look for the lead, and they find it. At 7:22, Will Smith scores from Ferraro and Zetterlund. Things are going well for San Jose, in fact. They looked for another. They had all the momentum in the world. But shots are 7-4 for the Sharks with 9.5 minutes left. The Panthers press with 7 minutes left, and at 14:27, Georgiev just failed to hold this puck. Bennett ends up getting the goal from Greer and Mikkola. They challenge it for goalie interference, and nope. So that counts, and the Panthers get a power play because of the failed challenge. That was killed off. Georgiev holds after, so things look like they're going to be okay. But at 17:08, Ekblad scores from Tkachuk. The Florida Panthers have the lead back now at 3-2. Sharks press to respond, but it's 3-2 for Florida after one. Second period, 3:01 in, Greer scores from Nosek, and that ends the night for Georgiev. So the San Jose Sharks are single-handedly keeping the goals average around the league high. Like, I feel like if it wasn't for San Jose, we'd be talking about how goal scoring is about 5.5 per game. Where's the offense? But San Jose's there. Not that they're scoring all the goals to keep it high, though. So Florida presses at 4.5 minutes. They end up getting a power play, and at 5:35, Tkachuk scores from Barkov and Ekblad. So the Sharks are exactly the elixir that Florida needed for their somewhat anemic offense recently. And then at 13:07, Jesper Boquist goes around Askarov and close. Lundell and Verhaeghe with the assists. Jesper Boquist is having the best season of his career, and it's not close. And then at 16:25, Reinhart buries one from the inner slot, because why not? Barkov with the assist. It's 7-2 for Florida after 2. Third period, early press by the Sharks. Shots are 2-1, San Jose at 3.5 minutes. Florida presses at 7.5 minutes. The teams trade turnovers. Shots were 5-2 for Florida with 7.5 minutes left. Ceci has a net feed that's held. We get a power play for the Sharks. They only needed 5 goals on that power play, but Florida kills it off, and they hold on. They win this one 7-2, so the no mercy magnet's down here. And yet, even though it's a no mercy magnet, honestly, in that third period, I thought Florida let up a little. So Florida goes to 29-18-3 with the win. They pull within 1 point of the Toronto Maple Leafs for the top spot in the division. San Jose 14-32-6, and they're at the bottom, so they can't go any lower. Keep that in mind for the power rankings. Shots on net, 13-10 Florida in the first, 11-9 Florida in the second, 7-5 Florida in the third. Final shots, 31-24 for Florida. Power plays, Florida 1 for 2, San Jose 0 for 1. The hits, 22-19 San Jose. Bobrovsky saves 22 out of 24. Georgiev saves 11 out of 15. And then Askarov saves 13 out of 16. Maybe they need Vanacek back. It's just the defense, the goaltending has not been at NHL level for San Jose this week. And even by San Jose standards right now, things are kind of bleak. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.